check out Cajun Lights, your complete dog hunting outfitter. Tracking equipment, leashes, collars, dog supplies, and much, much more. You can find it all at CajunLights.com. And don't forget their outstanding lineup of lights. You can find it all at CajunLights.com. Elite nutrition products are the hottest thing on the market right now for dog and horse owners. And Houndsman XP is a dealer. You can find all their products on our website at houndsmanxp.com. Over the past 5 years, you've tuned into this podcast, and I don't take it lightly. We have built a mutual trust. And when I recommend a product, it's because I believe in it, I use it, and I'm given my seal of approval for that. I'm putting my name on that. And with Elite Nutrition products, I do trust it. I do use it. I've seen great results with their essential dogs, their pre and probiotics, their tick-borne disease treatment. It's all natural. It's a great alternative to pharmaceuticals when used appropriately. If you expect extreme performance, you need Elite Nutrition. Available from houndsmanxp.com.
So I've done CPR on a handful of folks, and that's the first time I've ever seen anybody check out. And that was, and especially somebody that meant a little bit to me. Not to say, I mean, that's kind of crappy to say, you know, people mean something to me, but it's somewhere, you know, a family member. And that was pretty tough. That was
would have freed up your duck season. I mean,
and the second time, she almost checked out the second time, and she's sitting there squeezing me, saying, "Help me, help me, help me."
I don't remember that either. I really don't. So much of that whole stay is fuzzy.
2 days later, she said she gets up in the morning. I'm there most of the night, aside from feeding birds and animals and stuff. And she gets up and she says, "Man, two things are going to happen today. You're going to go get me sushi, and I'm getting out of this damn bed." It was game day in Stillwater, Oklahoma,
yeah.
And you don't do anything on game day in Stillwater. And I went and braved the Stillwater crowds.
That's true love right there.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back for another episode of the Falconry Chronicles podcast, and this is another fun husband and wife falconry tandem conversation that's coming at you from Oklahoma. There's actually at least a couple of good ones that were recorded while I was out there. Lots of good stuff in them, and this one was a lot of fun. They brought over a bottle of wine. We just had a good old time talking about all kinds of interesting stuff. There's a couple of really wild stories that you're going to hear. In particular, Gayla's brush with a near-death episode, or actually technically a death episode, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting for you to hear, I'm sure. It was definitely wild for me to hear, being in healthcare and everything else too, but at any rate, yeah, there's lots of great stuff in this episode. They bring yet another really interesting dynamic to the whole falconry husband and wife conversation. And as an added bonus, because we talked about it quite a bit in the episode, we went and had sushi afterwards at actually one of the best sushi places I've ever had, believe it or not, in Oklahoma of all places. So it was a great night, and thanks again very much to them for the wine and the good conversation. So without anything further being said, we're just going to jump into this conversation with Phil and Gayla. Here we go. Let's do this. Cheers again.
Okay.
Yep. Cheers.
Chitano.
Oh, yeah. And thank you both for coming. Remind me, who did we just say made this wine?
So it's a winery in Colorado. It's called Talon Winery, and a guy named Glenn Foster owns it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I know we've had to look that up 3 times already, yeah. But
well, there's no
get it right.
I figured we'd go ahead and get that out of the way before we all forgot it again here. But thank you all for bringing this.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's been so many people from the club and everything that could partake in all this weekend, and it was nice getting a chance to talk to one of the many Robs this morning.
We definitely have too many Robs,
as well as Ken yesterday as well, and so I'm already really happy with the productivity of the trip, and glad you guys were a part of it. So
yeah,
no problem.
Yeah. What have you guys been doing today so far?
Work. We snuck
Yes.
out a little early. So
Yeah. Yeah. And so remind me again what you do for work.
I'm a veterinarian in Guthrie, so he came and picked me up from work. I got off early too on a Friday. It was great. So yeah, I'm a mixed animal vet.
And I do graphic design, basically. Do a lot of falconry stuff for him. Did a lot of shirts and swag for the last couple of NAFA meets and all our club stuff. So
Nice. Okay. So you're the guy that I need to talk to every so often from now on when I need, some different swag options and things for the, some new designs for the podcast and everything.
We can definitely get you going.
Absolutely. Networking.
Yeah. Well, that's the name of the game. If you're not willing to do that, then you're not going to get very far in anything these days. That's for sure. But
It's all who you know.
yeah, I heard that saying so many times when I was younger, getting into music and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't really realize just how true that is until I got into an adulthood and still was trying to network in music and everything else. And this stuff isn't any different, falconry and everything else. I mean, your life does get infinitesimally easier whenever you know other falconers and other people that do different things that you want to do. So, speaking of that, why don't we just go ahead and talk about how you both met then, and we'll get the origin story, I guess, of that, and whether and were you both already in falconry, or did one get... Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, he drugged me into it.
Yeah,
But
it was my idea.
back in the day, back before social media, we tell everybody we met on the internet, which is true. So we both were in training hunting dogs, German Shorthairs to be specific, and he did horseback field trialing with his Shorthairs, and I was into German imports. And these two little niches, even though they sound the same to most people, are very different worlds. And so we were on a hunting message board back in the day. I don't even know if they still have those anymore, but we argued for 4 years before we ever finally met in person at a dog event in Tennessee, and didn't really get along very well. And finally met. He came out one winter to Oklahoma to train his dogs in the winter. I think he was in Ohio at the time and needed a little warmer climate with less snow to train dogs, and basically never left. So, and that's...
Well, the Nationals are out here, and that's why I came out, to acclimate the dogs to the area. So.
Yeah. So we kind of came into, and that kind of leads us into falconry. We were both dog trainers, and through the canine world, kind of came into the falconry part of it. So we had a background in different kinds of training, which kind of really affected our falconry at first, because having no idea how to train birds, is applying the principles of training dogs and all of that going to apply. So it was a little, most falconers came into dogs from falconry, and we did the exact opposite. So it was an interesting start from that perspective. That was one of the things. So, but yeah, I captured him and kept him in Oklahoma.
And I'm sure that once you captured him, then you both just magically instantly got along swimmingly after that.
It's
Sort
been
of.
magic. It's been magic from day one. Absolutely.
I have or had Americanized German Shorthairs, and she had imported German Shorthairs.
That's right.
So the argument was who had the better dogs.
I
and
won.
She did. The German
Deutsch Kurtzar.
Deutsch Kurtzar. I knew that was. And but it's definitely a versatile dog as opposed to what the AKC has ruined. So.
Yeah, well, boy, that's a whole other conversation.
Oh my gosh,
It
yes.
is.
Yeah, well, having been in the other German-ish world of dachshunds and those field trials
Tackles.
and and things and all that kind of stuff, it's there's something somewhat magnetic about dogs that originated from Germany in general. It doesn't matter if it's your German Shorthairs, your Dachshunds, your Yogs. They all have this unique way of wanting to make you choke them and love them just insanely, immeasurably.
That's true of all Germans.
Yes,
And,
yeah. Yeah, and I've gotten to know several Germans in my time as well, having also endorsed German instrument company and things as well. They kind of burrow a little special place into your heart, and they just kind of live and fester there forever.
Yes, that's very true. That is very true. Yeah. It's just a philosophy. It's a breeding philosophy that I really wish was applied more widely over any species. It's animal welfare and just, using a breed for its purpose and breeding it that way, smart breeding, ethical breeding, and doing a good job instead of, putting two dogs together and calling it the doodle of the day or however, I don't know.
Yeah.
I work in the industry every day, and the results of bad breeding are keeping me in business. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, having done this now for years, talking to so many different people, and as I don't have to tell either of you how much the dog realm has bled into the falconry realm and how important it is to so many people. Falconers in their opinions anyway, let alone falconers that are also in the dog world, also having their opinions, and also having a chance to see the results of both a very good genetic, being a pickiness and not so.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand completely what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can get into that hybrid versus straight bred breeding for hours.
Yeah. We're not terribly versed in probably the breeding of raptors, other than acquaintances. We haven't really involved ourselves in that niche of falconry. So, but the things that go on with the dogs can be both. I mean, with social media, you kind of know you're in everybody's backyard. You know exactly what they're up to because they tell you. And, some of it's good and some of it's not.
Yeah. And, the genetic pairing and the hybridization and just the breeding in general of raptors. I mean, there's some Venn diagramming into each, of the importance of certain things versus others and stuff. But I definitely think it's much more. You got to be a lot pickier, it seems, in certain things with one versus the other, and all that. But especially having seen the several different very large and even some smaller breeding projects in the raptor world and stuff now. It's really pretty amazing though. Doesn't matter which realm you're in, what people have to go through. I mean, it's a very high maintenance on both spectrums.
Yes,
so.
I can imagine that the principles applying those would the German principles, I call them, if you want to call them that, would be. I'm sure some have tried to apply those to the world of falconry. Performance-based breeding and getting the birds out and actually seeing how they perform and picking the best ones before you put them together, and then. It's not quite as simple and straightforward as it is in the canine world, but it's an interesting concept.
I hear the same sayings that I hear in the dog world for 30 years. And again, I'm not versed in the falcon breeding or hawk breeding or anything. Well, and you hear a guy say, well, if he doesn't work out, I'm just going to put him in a breeding project. Mm-hmm. And in the dog world, we would neuter or spay that dog and move right on. And I hear that all the time in the falconry world.
Yeah, and the sad part is though there's I think there's definitely certain people that focus on there's certain people that I do know that focus a lot more. Okay, I don't want a hawk or a falcon being brought into my breeding project unless it's a proven game hawk and has been a very, they don't, if it's got the qualities that they want, then they'll take it.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's also a lot of people that it's like, well, yeah, they're kind of fostering in almost what you don't want because you're taking something that didn't work out as a game hawk and you're wanting to breed it and make more game hawks. Right. Yeah, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense in some ways, but it happens. So
there's good and bad breeders in every species.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And
well, your definition of a good game hawk varies a lot too.
Right.
Whose definition are you looking at? Are you getting those birds into the hands of capable, experienced falconers? Or are you looking for something more for a beginner, new people that they're easier to train, they're more compliant, those kinds of things? I mean, what's good, what's bad? There's, that's where the Germans have the standards in their dogs. There's not really such a thing that I'm aware of in the falconry world, which would be interesting. I mean, and
there's matters of opinion. People would come to us as breeders of the dogs we bred and compete and say, what do you think of my dog? And my opinion really doesn't matter of your dog. If you have to feed him. Yeah. So if he makes you happy, what's the difference what I think?
Yeah, exactly. And, it's the same thing like, I've done enough like, going back to the dachshunds, for example, I've done enough of those field trials now to know that, I've done several and seen dogs that I know are amazing in the field that are absolutely terrible at field trials.
That's true.
And you know what? That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And there's to be 100% honest, I'm not poo-pooing on anybody else's dogs or what they like to do, but there's lots of dachshunds that I've seen that are amazing in field trials that I don't think that they would be very good hunters.
Exactly right.
So there's all kinds of each person's perception is good and bad is going to be different from person to person and what they look for and
Absolutely.
stuff too. So
I think our number one argument when we started was that field trials and hunting are not the same thing.
No.
Those dogs aren't the same, but we use field trials as an objective, tape measure to pick good hunting dogs.
Right. Do they at least have the traits?
Yes. If you know in the back of your mind they're not the same, and you keep that at the front of your head when you're selecting dogs to hunt with, then it's great. But if you think you're going to take a horseback field trial dog and go hunt heavy cover with quail with a German Shorthair, it's not going to happen. They're not the same dog. So, yeah, that's number one.
A broad statement too. There are the exceptions to the rules, but
there's always exceptions to every rule.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's not the. It's the. Once again, the exception usually is a very small percentage.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, as far as then, so you said he drug you into this world, and how long? Roundabouts-ish then were you together before you decided to be drug into this world?
We've been together for 20 years. Yeah. About 10 years in. Well, and he'd already always
15 years.
Yeah, ago. He's kind of talked it up. I want to do this. We started seriously looking for sponsorship and had a really hard time finding a sponsor. We're both self-employed, and it was really hard for us to get away from our jobs. So doing the thing of driving 3 hours every weekend to go talk to a sponsor, it wasn't going to happen for us. So that was at least a 2 or 3 year journey after deciding to become a falconer that we had to address. He was determined, so I would have probably let it go, but he was determined. But then I ended up finding his sponsor for him. So through the art world, which is kind of a weird thing, kind of one of those networking, totally random, I know a guy things. That's how that happened. So
I'm seeing a strange theme here. She sure is taking a lot of credit for a lot of the.
I know.
A lot of the things that you do, man.
Well, it's part of it.
I give him permission. That's.
There's something to be said with working, living, and doing your hobby with your spouse. If you can get through all that without killing each other, that's pretty freaking awesome.
We actually work really well together. We think alike, I guess. Our thought processes are a lot the same. So we do. We have worked together since we've gotten married, and we make a pretty good team. So.
It's the story as it goes with the falconry thing. You know how it is. It's tight getting in, and you got to prove yourself and pay your dues. And I totally agree with that. Mainly because protecting what we have here. This could be taken away from us tomorrow if people start making a mess of it. And she went to go see a local artist. Here, I'm playing the drums. Sorry. She went to go see an artist doing a little expose in Stillwater, which is just north of us where we are now. Very well-known graphic artist that lives about 9 miles from us, or 15 miles from us, I'd say. And she noticed that his art had a lot to do with falcons and hawks and stuff like that. And they got to talking afterwards, and, he's a falconer. So she came home and told me, I met this guy, and he's willing to talk to us about falconry. And I went and had lunch with him at Jimmy John's in Stillwater, and he said, you guys have been after it this long, and we talked for a couple of days and visited for a while, and he said, okay, I'll give you a shot. So I went home and told her, I said, Tim Jessel's my boyfriend now. So,
Yeah.
and you'll be interviewing him here shortly.
Yeah.
Heck of a guy, heck of a falconer, heck of an artist. And when I went over, you know how people always find out you're an artist or find out you're a dog trainer or find out whatever you do, and they say, look at my dog or look at this. And I showed her, or him rather, some of Gayla's artwork. And he said that same thing. Oh boy, here we go. Everybody wants to show me artwork. And she's pretty damn good too. For a veterinarian, she's a hell of an artist. Or vice versa. So
Butterflies and unicorns.
Right.
I think that was exactly what he said.
Yeah, and he was pretty taken aback, and he'll tell you that himself. But that was 14 years ago. So, and we've been buddies ever since, and we fly together 2 or 3 times a week, as well as Rob Huber. The 3 of us hit it pretty hard. So, again, that's one of the things when I guess we'll get to being part of a club or being part of a membership. It just has lifelong friendships when you make them,
Well, at least then that conversation worked out well for you. Usually whenever a significant other comes home and says, honey, I met this other guy, usually what comes shortly after that isn't something you want to hear.
Right.
It was almost the opposite. I was really afraid for a while that Jessel was going to steal my husband because he's not your boyfriend, honey. They had so many things in common. It was kind of funny. But yeah, it was just one of those things how it happened. Everything kind of fell into place. And Phil has just taken it to the next level and pursued it. He fell in love with it. It's what he loves to do. And, my husband's not in the bars at night or out chasing women. He's stuffing dead rats in my freezer. But, that's a small price to pay.
Yeah. Well, you're a vet and you, you're in this too. So, I'm sure there's some of your rats that are getting stuffed in there also, too, right?
Yeah.
She's actually a falconer longer than I am. She passed the test the first go around and I did not. So
it was the medical questions that got you.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's weird stuff in our freezer, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think there's that first initial shock moment with any spouse of a falconer that opens the wrong container and finds the rabbit head or whatever that's thawing in the fridge or whatever the case is. And there's always that moment.
If we have anything in common as falconers across the country or the world, is please don't let anybody go in the freezer. You know what I mean? We all, you never know what the hell they're going to pull out. So.
Yeah. I use lots of disinfectant on my cutting board at home. I do a lot.
I don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. Well, so and I guess before we get into the other stuff, then what are you all primarily hawking then? What's your go-to style quarry?
I'm a firm believer of get a bird that is available for the prey that you have.
Sure.
So when I started this, my dream, I wanted to cast the Harris Hawks. And we got to that point, and had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and the rabbits disappeared. So now what?
Disappeared. None.
Gone. And so we switched to goshawks. Had imprint goshawks for a little bit. The first one was a really nice bird and ended up not doing well, killed himself. And the second one we called Evil White Bitch. But
Can you say that on the podcast?
Yeah, that's fine.
Here, beep.
It's been said plenty of times. It's fine.
He's actually been doing really well so far. I really expected lots of
so-
bleeps, but
But now what? What do we do? I had another goshawk deposit down for a couple of years and said, "Oh no, it's a waste." Our duck season wasn't all that good in the early part of the year when you got to get a bird on ducks, and so I let it go for 2 or 3 years and then hit longwings. And when I started this, she and I both agreed. I mean, I don't get that longwing stuff. I mean, it's not enjoyable to
what's
me at
the
all.
point? Yeah.
And here I am 8 years later, my third falcon, and I really enjoy it, watching that and training them and getting involved. So that is my go-to is longwings. But we are going to trap a red tail this year because red rabbits are back in full force. We're going to have a great time and just go out and, we live on a quarter section of land. So out my back door, I'm hawking already. So that's our plan for now, and then if the rabbits stick around, I'll go back to that goshawk too. We are unfortunately on another change of life here and up where we live. We're getting inundated with windmills.
Yeah.
So that is, I'm spoiled rotten. My first pond is 100 yards from my driveway, and I hawk my way to work and hawk my way home, and that's going to change drastically here the next 2 years.
Yeah, that's what Rob was saying this morning too.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And
All
now
of us.
we're inundated with rabbits.
Yeah.
Ironically enough. So
So it's probably back to Cooper's Hawks or goshawks and go have some fun that way. I'll always have that long wing, I think, but just to go have fun out the back door, it can't be the long wings anymore. So we'll have to do some driving, and I'm spoiled. So
I've been fascinated with squirrel hawking for years and have never done it. And I had a male Harris, so I didn't want to fly him. He was also fascinated with squirrels. So I did everything I could to avoid them. And now I think we need a bird just for that.
yeah, that's fun.
Those people are crazy and I love them. Oh my God. Every time, every meet we go to, I go find squirrel hawkers and just stand around them. They're the best people ever. A lot of fun. They just have fun with falconry, There are no sticks up anybody's anywhere. They're just having a good time, and I love that.
Yeah. The moment you find a really picky, kind of stuck-up-ish, snobbish, elitist squirrel hawker, you might want to. You might kind of want to suspect something else might be going on there.
I don't think they exist.
Because we are usually the definition of your toothless redneck,
I know. That's my
good old
people.
boy,
That's the song of my people. I love it. I just love the whole idea of it. Never done it, but we've talked for years about trapping a bird just for that, and this may be the year.
It's literally the most pure fun form of dirt hawking, I think.
And you can do it anywhere.
And you can, and it's the most. And we make this joke all the time in the Midwest. I mean, being all of my Kentucky and Indiana buddies and even, my buddies in Tennessee and stuff, eventually what most people are going to have are starlings and squirrels.
Mm-hmm.
So you better like to learn at least one of those,
Yep.
as far as a hawkable quarry, because that's eventually, we make the joke all the time. It's eventually what we're going to have. And I mean, it is a lot of fun, a ton of fun. And you'll have a good time if you want to delve into that world, for sure.
Cool. Yeah, the male Harris hawk, he was just fascinated with them, and we had a lot of fun. He caught a lot of squirrels too, not on purpose, but if there was one around, he was going to have it, and scared me to death. But yeah, that may be where we go this year. We've talked about that for years, and that may be good, especially since we do have rabbits. So we have backup, but we have a ton of squirrels in our backyard too. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can do both. And, I mean, for me anymore, if I trap a red tail and that thing doesn't want a squirrel, it's getting fed up and turned right back loose. There's no,
right.
I mean, having the dachshunds for me and hawk and bunnies with a red tail, it's more fun now whenever I have a dachshund to work with, because, there's that aspect of the fun. But no, I mean, if it won't do squirrels, it's gone.
Well, we have a Decker,
Yeah.
so
And he loves to chase.
he does.
He gets involved with the rabbits too, but he'll squirrel hawk all day.
I've seen, the Deckers that I've seen, they're some of the greatest squirrel Deckers. It's a rabbit is crack for them.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah, absolute crack. Yeah. I mean, one of the funniest things I have ever seen was whenever I went hawking with Jeff Fincher one day, and the red tail he was flying at the time caught a rabbit, and his Decker Gozer. I walk over, and I'm trying to figure out where they're at, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, out from behind a couple of shrubs or something, I see Gozer dragging this rabbit, and the red tail is surfing on the rabbit as Gozer is dragging the rabbit across the grass. Yeah. And I just started to laugh. I couldn't help it. It was one of the funniest damn things I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, man, you'll have fun. I highly encourage. And
that'll be a thing this year.
We may be giving you some calls.
Yeah.
Asking for some advice. But,
sure.
And those Deckers don't bark, and he barks at two things: cars going down our dirt road or rabbits.
Or rabbits,
So
that's true.
it's the only time. If he's barking, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
So
That's true. Yeah, the whole dog thing. People don't appreciate hunting over a really well-trained dog. They don't. Even people that have hunted for years, it's that aspect of having it's the relationship you have with your dog, and when everything's working right and the dog's doing everything right and the birds are all perfect. There's just nothing like that.
No.
And then with falconry, you add in a bird, a raptor, and then you start seeing the dog and the bird work together. It's crazy. It's the craziest thing ever. Two species that should have no respect whatsoever for each other, especially with the hares hawks. But just watching the bird start watching the dog instead of you, and watching the dog watching the bird. It's crazy. That's one of the coolest things I think about this sport is the two species that really shouldn't have anything to do with each other that figure out the game, figure out each other.
Yeah.
That's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, and then sometimes they still don't want to have anything to do with each other.
Sometimes they're like siblings and they fight. And the crazy white bird, that's the day that she nipped the dog is when it all started going wrong.
it went south.
Yes. Yeah.
How did that go?
Not well.
Not well.
She has a 4-inch scar down her face, and she wanted to kill us.
Yeah, that was a whole episode, but probably taught us more about falconry and training than anything else.
Yeah, go ahead and pour me another one of those,
I
please.
will.
Thank you very much.
I won 5 bottles of wine in the last NAFA raffle, and that's what this is.
Oh, well, of course you did.
Yeah. So,
See, benefits.
Yeah. I think I've only ever won one thing in a NAFA raffle so far. So yeah. Of course you would win 20 bottles of wine.
well, actually, it was a monetary amount, and I equated it to 5 bottles. So,
oh, okay. All right. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So it was the last spring raffle, I think it was. So.
Well, yeah. Cheers again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so between me and the other folks that I know, I mean, I still consider myself, fairly new into squirrel hawking myself, and I really wish I'd have done it sooner. But between me and the other folks that I know, we'll get you sorted for sure.
Yeah.
And if you need any help.
Yeah, we've been around long enough when that was so taboo, and oh my gosh.
Sure.
And I just love that there's a group of people that said, we don't care what you think, we're going to go do it. And in fact, we're going to perfect the art, and we're going to have fun. I love that. So yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
There's some local colleges and golf courses that seek out favors from falconers, to come clear up a little issue.
Perfect spot.
And that's great. Yeah. I went a few times to be a spectator because I didn't have birds at the time for that. And it was quite interesting to see.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Those spots in particular, if you got permission in those, then you're golden.
Oh, yeah.
You're absolutely golden.
One of the schools there's a big pond in front of the biggest part of the
Campus.
university, without saying the name. And the squirrels would come up and steal keys and all the shiny stuff out of pocketbooks or backpacks. So
Golf carts.
Well, and that was golf courses. But so Christmas break, we would get asked to come out and visit the college for a couple of days.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But their big thing was, okay, so we're going to release the birds here, but those ducks and swans are worth thousands. You can't touch them. We have an issue.
They're not remote controlled.
But we avoided them. We didn't take a duck for dinner. So.
I was going to say, well, and the good thing too is if one got caught, then odds are you'd be able to exchange it off without you know, too much damage being done.
Yeah,
most of the time
we were very close, and yeah.
We've done it on chickens.
Yeah.
You haven't really dirt hawked until you've caught somebody's backyard chicken.
Oh my gosh.
She saved the chicken's life, comes back with the bird in hand, and there goes the dog to finish the job.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great day.
Feathers everywhere.
Not to mention it was like 200-300 yards away, and I had to run. And they had an electric fence. That was
Dog said you forgot something, and brought it back. So
Yeah, go figure.
The chicken still lived. Just so we end that story on a good note.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. No, I've got some chicken stories too. But anyway. Well, yeah, no, that's awesome though. I'm glad that you all are continuing to try and expand your horizons and still having fun, not only just in general, but with each other still, and haven't wanted to unalive each other in the field or anything yet.
Nobody said that.
It's just not successful.
I was trying to be positive and optimistic.
Nobody said that. No, if you kill somebody out in the field, then you have to load everything back up by yourself.
Yeah.
You have to clean everything up by yourself. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
you have to plan these things.
Right. Wait until you get home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's ways to do that.
Yeah. Do you all have septic, or do you have actual city sewage?
We have neither. We have a pond.
Oh, okay.
We have a sewage pond, which
Okay.
has lots of good stories for that too. But yeah, we live out.
Like, don't pet the dog.
Yeah.
The dog is wet. Don't pet it.
Are you okay?
The dog is green usually.
Oh man.
Yeah, he gets lots of baths. Bless his heart. Yeah, we live out in the middle of nowhere. We have no codes, and that's been there for 50 years. So
Nice.
I think pigs is our preferred method, and we've discussed this before. It's going to have to be pigs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You can still DNA the manure, though.
I know. Yeah.
Really?
Science is catching up to us. It's getting harder to kill people and dispose of bodies without getting caught.
Well, shit.
I know.
Yeah, I guess there's when we don't live in Florida either, so there's not the gator option either. So,
There's gators in Oklahoma.
Yeah. We have 7 ecosystems in the state. We have
That's
gators in the
right.
southeast, and we have pronghorn and elk in the northwest.
Really?
Yeah. So we have
Learn something new every day.
I know.
I just learned last week we have otters. So
Okay.
Yeah.
right here in town.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a roadkill. It wasn't me, but yeah, it was sad. They're so cute. But, southeastern Oklahoma. I've been trying to get you to go Bigfoot hunting down there anyway. So
Yeah. One day.
I keep hearing, and it's funny that, there's been a few different states that I've been pleasantly surprised by all of the variation in scenery and everything. I mean, I know my first state that was like that, for me was Idaho. I was shocked at, because anybody that doesn't live in Idaho, the only thing they think of is potatoes, right? and so the first or second time I visited Idaho, I was kind of like, oh, whatever. And then and then the longer I stayed there, I was just like, wow, there's actually a lot of really cool stuff. There's almost every type of terrain and scenery there. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. my experiences in Oklahoma have just been utterly miserable because it's always been on a long drive and it's always been right along the interstate. And it's been the most boring stretch of misery on any long drive.
Caveat, Kansas is worst.
I would say they're equally sucky.
Oh my gosh. Not even close.
I have driven through both multiple times.
No.
And the only thing I haven't noticed yet that makes Kansas maybe top it or edge it just a little bit is I haven't noticed the constant smell of cow crap, driving through Oklahoma yet. Maybe I'm just not been in the right spots.
Go up to the panhandle, it's pigs.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair enough. Okay.
Cow lot or feedlots.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we will drive 3 hours out of our way to avoid driving through Kansas when we go to Colorado. That is the truth. Absolute truth.
Yeah. Well, I've been across country and back several times now, multiple different ways, and I still the two most miserable stretches of driving for me is through Oklahoma, and then part of Kansas too, but whatever. But either way, I mean, as far as out of curiosity though, I mean, do you guys ever see yourself wanting to be anywhere else? Are you guys going to be in Oklahoma forever, you think, or?
So I'm a what you call a damn Yankee. You know the difference between a Yankee and a damn one?
Enlighten me.
A Yankee comes here and visits. A damn Yankee doesn't go home.
Gotcha. Okay.
So literally got stuck in her front yard with my big truck and had to get pulled out. Went home, got divorced, came back.
Okay.
And
so there was or wasn't a metaphor involved in that, or
the divorce was imminent. This just moved it right along.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right.
I know we said we'd talk about anything,
right.
but there's a law in my town that every third marriage has to be outside the gene pool.
Okay.
So that's...
All right, that's good.
But I'm from the East Coast, New York, New Jersey area. There's certain things that I miss, but I'm not leaving Oklahoma.
Okay.
You're going to have to carry me out.
All right.
So. He's more redneck than most rednecks I know.
Fair
he
enough.
just fit right in and he embraced the whole life, and his family thinks he's crazy.
Yeah. Tornadoes. It's the first thing they say.
His family all lives on the East Coast, and they think he's crazy. And he is a little. But.
I enjoy it here. I'm from a small town in mid New York, but still, this is pretty close knit. I know everybody in town. If not, we'll meet here in the next month. But yeah, I really dig it. It's my favorite. I yearned for this my whole childhood, to be out west, and here I are, and I'm not going anywhere. So
fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I guess if that's the case, then you're probably not going anywhere either, then, right?
I'll go wherever he goes. But we do travel and look around, but there's only one home, and I've lived all over the country myself, so it's not like we haven't been out anywhere, but. It's just comfortable. We like
Central United States, so we can decide in 18 hours we can be on either ocean. Yeah. So, in fact, we just came back from the Atlantic side, visiting family.
Only 18 hours.
Well, that's pretty short. It's a lot longer for you to go to New Hampshire and, go hawking up in upstate New York. So,
I don't enjoy driving that much. I drive to work every day. The commute kills me, but he doesn't mind it. So if he'll drive,
I will make my way out west and see a sky trial. It's it's on the list. And, I've been invited out west to come hawk, and you guys kind of got manly cold out there though. And that's not for me, but I will make my out and fly Huns, and I will try that one before I die or before I quit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like eventually I'll end up out west somewhere, but it's not going to be somewhere that gets deathly cold. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few states that I would, and that's the reason why I like asking people, if they are going to stay where they're at or if they're happy where they're at. I mean, I'm always very happy for people that feel like they have everything they need where they're at and stuff, because it can be a bummer, kind of living in a spot, obviously, where you're not really fulfilled and you, it's kind of sucky, but. Even like living where I'm at, I at least have squirrel hawking and other stuff, and everything. But I don't think I'll be in Indiana forever. That's for sure. I'd like to live somewhere else out west. I always say west is best. So
Indiana, I thought you were northwest.
No.
Oh, so that's why I said it's longer for you to drive.
No.
See,
That's why I was kind of like,
I gotcha.
I'm just doing my Indiana math. And I was like,
yeah.
I saw you make the face, and I'm like,
I
thought he
know.
was
Ohio
Northwest.
is 16 hours. Indiana's.
Yep, it was above.
yeah.
Yeah. Where we are, even in Oklahoma, is perfect. I mean, we have everything you want out your back door. We don't have to drive to put up a deer stand. We don't have to. There's turkey every morning. There's bobwhite. You know, we don't have huns and chuckers and things like that, but we have bobwhite quail and, you know,
Scaled quail, pheasant.
ducks. We have so many ponds around. So, you know, you choose the right bird and we don't have to go anywhere to hunt and be successful. That's the beauty of it.
Well, and that's something that I always like to ask people too, is what their opinion is of, there's not very many places anymore where you can do everything. And I don't even know if there truly is a place anymore where you can do almost literally every form of falconry, long wing, hawks, whatever.
Our house,
Except barring eagles.
because of the windmills.
Well, not only the windmills, but our farms are divided up into quarter sections. So there's a fence every 80 acres, basically. So you're not going to get a big long flight for an eagle without hopping 3 fences and running your butt off or whatever. So, but you can get that in the Panhandle. And Panhandle's a 6-hour drive, but that would, aside from owning an eagle, or that's keeping me from either getting involved in anything like that. Love to watch them. I'll go with anybody who wants to let me come hang around, but you just can't fly them. Again, I'm spoiled. Literally hawk out my front door. There's rabbits underneath my hawk house.
There's rabbits underneath their front porch.
Yeah. So
Which I'm sad to say. Remember I said we have a decker?
Yeah, it freaks him out.
You got to watch when you open the door because he'll jerk you right off the deck.
I don't doubt it.
So we barring any flights for eagles, we can fly any bird out our back door and find prey. So,
Well, good.
barring the RHD for 4 years, we were 5-6 years, basically we were rabbit less. When we flew our Harrises and our red tails, gosh, we would be done in 30 minutes trying not to run into a rabbit. And then it was a 4-hour walk hoping we would see a rabbit. And that got old.
Yeah.
So the switch was happened, and everything you do in life, in my opinion, you graduate and try different things and get to the point where things get harder to do and require a little bit more money or time or training. Went through that in our whole lives of hunting styles. And so I probably would have ran into the long wing world anyway. But when we ran out of rabbits, we had no choice. If you're going to hawk, you got to step it up. So, or I shouldn't say up or down. You have to make a lateral move. So, we had kestrels for a while, and that was fun. And my next was a Merlin, probably if the long wings didn't work out, or the bigger long wings didn't work out. But other than that, I don't see myself ever not having either a hybrid or Peels is my favorite. So I had one that was, and just because he was a murder bird. But other than that, which I was the first in Oklahoma, they say, we all call them sky dragons. And I had this bird 6 years, and he was killed in front of me by a bald eagle. And that was pretty tough.
A bald eagle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. An immature bald, so a year or 2 year old. Watched him come right in. I was running to him, and it just didn't. Fat old guy couldn't get there fast enough. So
yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it sucked, but it almost ruined it. I almost didn't want to do it out anymore.
Yeah.
So, but
you either want to or you don't. I mean, there's not really any in between. So
yeah. Well, watching him get,
Yeah. Well, it's not. I mean, it's the watching a Cooper's hawk sitting almost, try and finish off your kestrels.
Right.
Not that. I mean, it doesn't matter how big or how small. I mean, if you, it's kind of sucks either way.
Yeah. We tried a Cooper's too, and
Yeah.
I had it manning it on my fist, and it just fell over dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just like to die. So.
Yeah.
I know.
Playing the drums.
Playing the drums. Yeah. So you can edit out that sad story.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They do. They're very, very fragile animals. That's one of the hardest things about it is it doesn't matter how careful you are. things happen. That's how I lost my Harris hawk.
100%.
His goshawk. And it's, I'll tell on myself. First red tail. So I passed a year before he did. Got a red tail. We trapped her in a town 15 miles north of our house on a pole and called her Swoop. It's first bird. Brought her home, got her pretty man to the point we hadn't started catching game, but she was starting on her recall. Took her out, put her on the perch out in the yard, went back in the house to get something, came back out, and she was gone. She had her leash, all her kit on. She was gone for 9 days, and my brother was game warden for the county. Somebody called the game warden and said, there's a bird up here with a string on its leg. Same pole we trapped her off of, 9 days after she flew off, and there she was. And I was at work. He goes up to get her. She is going to come to the fist. Truck drives by, scares her. She flies into a tree, gets the leash wrapped, and is upside down in the tree. He calls the fire department. They cut the tree down, and we got her back. And, that was 9 days after that bird flew away. And she went back to the same pole that we trapped her on, and she was still alive.
Actually doesn't surprise me.
And how she wasn't wrapped around some tree somewhere, it was crazy. It was crazy. But anyway, yeah, that was my first oopsie.
Yep.
Every falconer has them, and every falconer not only will have plenty that they will admit to, there's also plenty that you'll never hear about too.
Yeah. And I'm sure, and I understand that. We're all human. There's no falconer out there that knows everything about everything. We have screw ups, and I think sometimes it helps, especially sharing those things with younger falconers or people getting into it, that you're not infallible. You're gonna screw something up. You're gonna probably do things that result in the loss of a bird, one way or the other. And as long as you learn from that, I think that's important. It's not. I hear people that talk about, oh, I'm not going to have an apprentice unless you kill 30 head a year. What is this about? This is not what falconry is not about how much you kill. It's how well you kill it. It's how well you treat your bird and your dog and respect what you're doing. But, if it all comes down to numbers that you write down in a book, then it's not fun. What's the point? We don't think of hunting that way when we have dogs. Why is it the same with birds? When I'm going to tell you the years that we didn't have rabbits, we put in 4 times the effort we did on the years that we had lots of rabbits, and it took us 15 minutes. So, that's one thing that is just kind of a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
If you're going to put in the work and put in the effort, some years are going to be better than others.
Yeah, and everybody unfortunately has life things that happen and come up to, and sometimes some years you're going to be able to hit it a lot harder, and others you're not. And yeah, the just purely numbers, you got to look at what goes along with the numbers. If you get 100 kills that you were doing everything you were supposed to, and it's a natural byproduct of having all that fun and doing everything the right way and everything like you're supposed to, then great. But there's nothing really that fun to me about 100 where it's just kind of easy, whatever, a bird just kind of flops out of a tree, whatever, this, that, and the other, and it is what it is. There's a lot to be said for everything else that goes in and around it as well. And so I'm not going to argue with you on that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But,
this last year has been probably my worst for the both of us, basically, in that aspect. I started first time I actually trained a chamber bird from the ground up, from 50 some odd days old up. And I'm moving along pretty well. I do have 2 guys that I fly with that are 40-year falconers, and I redid my apprenticeship again, if you want to say, starting with long wings and learning how they do it. And then she gets sick, and I had to put my bird up for 2 months. And man, that killed me on both accounts. And shit.
Which aspect of it really hurt you worse? We know.
For the boat, I mean, she died in front of me.
I did.
So, literally.
I died.
So
I get good mileage out of that.
So, but anyhow, nobody wanted to take the bird, and I understand why. And I was kind of mad that nobody wanted to take the bird, but in retrospect, I'm glad they didn't, because it fired me up a lot more. And then once we had her well and home, I was on the road again, and I had 6 days to get a duck for this bird. Once I had him back up flying and hitting, doing 2,000 feet and all that, and man, he got that bird.
This bird is.
Yeah.
I
haven't hit a brick wall with him yet.
He is awesome. And, going back to talking about breeding animals, the way this bird has come along with all the hiccups that he's had.
Crashed 2 drones. It's been a year.
I don't want to say he's automatic. I don't know. He's compliant. He's smart. He's easy. And he does everything he should do. Of course, with inexperienced mistakes. But he is going to be... he's going to be awesome. He's
the
just
biggest jinx.
Oh, that's true.
That's ever happened,
Knock,
because
knock.
he's going to be horrible this year.
No, he'll be great. He'll be great.
I tried to make...
Phil worked really hard on this bird to... Yeah, it was an unfortunate setback, but Phil has really worked hard with his bird, and it's going to pay off. He's going to be a really cool, fun bird to hunt this fall.
I think it's interesting how we just kind of brushed over the you dying part. Like what?
Right in front of me, bud.
Was this in the field, or was this
in the hospital?
Different?
In the hospital.
So you're already in the hospital.
I was in the hospital. Some medication they gave me to slow my heart rate down worked really well.
Yeah, Denizen.
Yeah, and I don't even remember what it was.
That might be it.
But it slowed my heart rate down to where it stopped.
Well, were you in like a SVT or like a really rapid heart?
I went in for a blood clot, and my heart rate was 150, 160.
Okay.
So they were trying to slow me down.
Adenozine's what they usually almost always give for that.
The first medication they tried didn't work. It was IV.
Yeah, and that's why we're in ICU.
Cordelio? I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway, so it stopped. I don't remember a lot of this, but I woke up. Some dudes doing compression. Yeah, the worst part was they broke my sternum, and that hurt so bad.
Yeah.
For 3 or 4 months, but. No, I'm all good now. I didn't even
That's good.
Everybody thinks I had a heart attack, which I didn't. My heart is fine.
Yeah.
It was just the reaction to the medication, but
yeah.
So, but I guess it messed up his bird training. So here we are.
Well,
did.
See, that's another way to try to get rid of a body. It's just, slip something in the, I don't know.
Sure you just didn't accidentally swap the real med with some potassium or something.
This is the best bird ever, and now you've just messed this up. So.
Yeah, it was scary.
It was way harder on Phil than it was me, because, like I said, I don't remember a lot of it. But bless his heart, he was right there.
Yeah, it's not like you would have. You wouldn't have necessarily cared after it all had happened and gone the wrong way.
Yeah. It was just a little hiccup.
Yeah.
Something to make you appreciate, who your life and who you're spending your life with and where you're spending it at. It was a good wake up. No tunnel, no light. I was a little disappointed. I don't have one of those stories.
Okay, fair enough.
I was, but it's all good now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I've been involved in a lot of cardioversions and a lot of a lot of that stuff, any time anybody ever comes in and does that kind of, rapid heartbeat, whatever. I've seen that given a ton of times and I've not ever seen anybody code yet because of it. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of,
and that's after 20 years of healthcare too. So,
I was in the ICU because I was on the IV drip. Mm-hmm. So the nurse came in, said,
yeah, just got off the phone.
My phone was laying right here. She's like, "Can you move your phone?" Because she thought I was on my leads. Mm-hmm. Your heart rate's doing something funny. It's the last thing I remember.
She said, "Did you feel that?" And boom, she was blue.
Yeah.
So I've done CPR on a handful of folks. And that's the first time I've ever seen anybody check out. And that was, and especially somebody that meant a little bit to me.
Yeah.
Not to say, I mean, that's kind of crappy to say, people mean something to me, but it's somewhere, a family member.
Sure. Yeah. I know what you meant.
And
more or less.
That was pretty tough. That was
Could have freed up your duck season. I mean,
and the second time, she almost checked out the second time. And she's sitting there squeezing me, saying, "Help me, help me, help me."
I don't remember that either. I really don't. So much of that whole stay is fuzzy.
Can't imagine why.
2 days later, she said she gets up in the morning. I'm there most of the night, aside from feeding birds and animals and stuff. And she gets up and she says, "Man, 2 things are going to happen today. You're going to go get me sushi, and I'm getting out of this damn bed."
Yes, ma'am.
It was game day in Stillwater, Oklahoma,
yeah.
and you don't do anything on game day in Stillwater. And I went and braved the
He did. He
Stillwater
promised.
crowds.
That's true love right there.
So
That is true love. That is how he stayed away or around for 20 years.
Fair enough.
Brings me sushi when I need it.
Yeah, well, I understand the need for that. It's my favorite food.
Yes,
as well.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even really sure how to transition from that, but anyway, we're gonna just do a
that
one
really
of those.
kind of harshed the mellow, didn't it? Yeah. You can just skip over that whole thing.
Well, luckily you're doing this recording with someone that, number one, not only has dark humor, but like I said, has been in healthcare for 20 years and has been involved in a lot of that kind of stuff for a very long time. So, I guess it was
absolutely
the right story at the right person for
That's
that.
right. Dark humor is the best.
But, well, I mean, before we do start kind of, I don't know, getting towards the end of this conversation, everything, though, I do think it is important, to go over, especially with people like you say, like even Rob this morning and other people that serve in these roles and capacities in their state clubs and things like that. I always want to talk about those things with people that have those roles, because I don't care if people get tired of listening to it or not. I want to beat into people's heads that it's very important for them to assume roles and responsibilities and carry the baton or the torch, or however you want to put it, for things that need to continue to get done, and so that we have representation and everything going into the future, no matter what state you live in or whatever the case is. So why don't you talk a little bit about, your experience in the Oklahoma club and things, and just kind of maybe talk about some of the things you liked about it, didn't like about it, whatever the case is. And
it's just another club. Same problems, no matter what species or whatever you're doing. But if it's your love or whatever, your pastime, you have to step up and help a little bit. I started out slow. I was the apprentice coordinator. I hosted a picnic and did all the little stuff to learn, meet folks. I didn't know anybody. That was part of my apprenticeship, or our apprenticeship was, you're going to join both clubs and you're going to attend every, sorry. I keep hitting the table.
You're Italian. I'm telling you, it's hard for you to talk that way.
So our sponsor said you're going to join both clubs and you are going to partake or help as much as you can with our club meets or functions. So we did that, and right away, getting off with a bang, we started helping supply stuff and do shirts and do swag, and like I said, we sponsored a couple picnics or set up a couple picnics. We had a meet in our area, just things like that. And then I spent 6 years on the board, and I think that's a must for once you're a falconer for a year or two, you need to step up in your local club and learn the realms and learn what is entailed of keeping what this very hard right, or privilege, I should say, to keep this privilege and what it takes to go through, and the rapport you got to build with the local wildlife agencies and whatnot. And I have to say, the years that I spent on the board of the Oklahoma Falconers Association, I spoke to many, if not met many, with many other falconry associations, and I got to say, we probably have the best rapport with our wildlife agency. They are involved. They want to be part of. Our head of the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife was a falconer at one time. At the time, there's a new head now. So they were very interested in what we do and how we do it. We also were asked, as me coming up through the club, the wildlife agencies in every state are self-funded through licenses and sales of ammo and guns and stuff. So they cannot, being a government agency, cannot solicit funds. So they formed a wildlife foundation, and they had asked us if we were interested in help raising funds for them. And myself, Robert Huber, who you talked to this morning, and you will meet my sponsor tomorrow, Tim Jessel, headed up the first time we went to the Wildlife Foundation Gala with our birds and raised $15,000 for them. And they were elated that people were, all the muckety mucks were there. This is the business people and things like that. And we raised quite a bit of money, and we did that for 3 years. Rob Rainey came with us this past year, him and his wife, and Gayla and I went to the gala last year and raised a bunch of money for them again. So that working hand in hand with these folks helps out a lot. When there's a question, they'll call, or if there's a hurt bird, or they'll call and say, "Hey, do you have a member in an area?" And we'll get that taken care of for them. Right now, they had asked us recently to come up with a what do you call PowerPoint to explain what the game wardens look for when they inspect your house. Because most of these guys, we're just a pimple on there. We're 100 strong in Oklahoma, so they don't even know us or what we do. So the game wardens don't know what a weathering yard is, or what a bath pen should look like, or how big. So they had asked us to come up with a PowerPoint for them. Fortunately, NAFA has the means to do this professionally, and they're doing it for every state. So they're going to step in and take care of that for us. Just things like that goes a long way. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. When there's an issue, like Rob Huber, I don't know if he mentioned it this morning, he spearheaded the opening of rabbit season year-round for us, and got that done single-handedly with our state senator. They got the rights of making the dates out of the governmental hands and got it into the ODWC's hands. And then they asked us for proof of why we want it and how we do it and why we think it should be open, and they approved it. So again, the report we have with our ODWC is unbelievably great. And we also have squirrel season open year round for us here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, he did mention that.
Yeah, we don't have, I'm sorry, I screwed that up. Rob got the squirrel season open year round for us. Rabbit season, one of the last presidents, Daniel Murray, he headed that up, I think. But yeah, a lot of states don't have that. A lot of states don't have the rapport that we have with our guys. I have his home phone number. I have a question, I can call him on Sunday. And then we in our peregrine trapping, we're allowed 5 in this state, and we called him personally and let him know when one was trapped, and it comes off the list. We don't have to tag certain birds like other states do. We have a great reputation with them, and that's the reason why we protect what we have. People call it gatekeeping. I don't buy into that. I call it protecting what I love. So, but I am also a very welcoming guy to get you into the club. Together we're strong. We might not have the same beliefs, but the end justifies the means. So, in the long run, we're all for the same thing when it comes down to it, for close enough. But, being a part of the club and getting off on a tangent there, does help everybody get to the same end result. And volunteering to help, it's not that hard. Being part of the board, we have 4 meetings a year, and we got to do a couple things together, and we have 2 meets mostly. And then every 6 or 7 years, we do the NAFA meet. So, but I enjoy being part of that, and I enjoy getting people involved in such a small sport where hunting across the board is going down. So every hunter, no matter what your style is, needs to get out there and get the young involved. And I think, you get these young falconers involved at teenage or early 20s, and there's our next biologists. And if we can get them on our side, their eyes are wide open going in, and they can go in and do good things. I mean, you see the peregrines today because of us. So, that in it of itself, get involved locally, learn about how it's done, and then get involved on a national level because they need help too. People aren't stepping up. So,
for sure, yeah, and that's, like I said, that's also a big reason why I continue to do what I do, and I've also tried to occasionally do presentations and stuff for other clubs and things like that too, because I think the more people understand that we're actually really we're kind of spoiled, with what we have. Yeah. And there's a lot of work that went into getting to that point. People need to understand that other countries would, a lot of them are very envious of what we have.
Very envious.
And that's why I like to share, just what I've learned from being in other countries and stuff and everything. I think it's very important. And once again, to reiterate, I appreciate you, like I said, emphasizing what you did, because, once again, someone's got to carry the baton. The minute somebody doesn't, we're gonna lose things.
Yep. I
mean, it takes so long and a lot of hard work to gain an inch, and it takes no time at all whatsoever to lose the mile.
Oh, that's a fact.
Yeah,
that is a fact. And this is so easy because there's so many people that think what we do is cruel until you explain to them exactly what good we're doing for these birds. And the story how 80% of them don't make it through their first year, and people don't realize that until they actually get hands on and see what we do. And I release this bird every day. He doesn't have to come back. Mm-hmm. So
sure.
So if I'm not doing well by him, he won't. So,
sure.
But, it's hard to make people understand until they see it firsthand. So,
of course. Yeah. And that's why, I'm glad that you guys have a good relationship like that with your state DNR and everything. Cause I feel like a lot of the states that have that good of a relationship always say the same thing. They have the best one, but that's great.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we feel that way in Indiana too. Mm-hmm. We have a really great relationship with our DNR as well. And, it's so much better. It's so much better to have a positive relationship with your government.
Oh yeah.
Entities and stuff, because gosh, yeah. I keep hearing more and more horror stories about some of the states that don't, and it's just like, God, I can only imagine. Anyway, I have to get into that, but at the same time, is there anything else you want to share about any of your personal experiences with any of it?
Not that I can think of, aside from Robert Huber and I. Sorry, I hit the table again. Robert Huber, I'm sure he mentioned this morning, him and I are co-chairing that for this year. We had a banner explosion of rabbits and pheasant and quail this year. It is going to be a pretty dandy of a meet. We have some great speakers. We have a little bit of weird setup this year because of hotels and where the banquet's going to be, a little bit of driving, but it's going to be great. We have a mega banquet center leased for the week. We have 3 hotels that are just a couple mile drive outside of town because of that reason. We didn't want to be in concrete jungle. And it's going, I'm going to say it's going to be a really good fun meet. We put a lot of legwork into this. Rob Huber, Rob Rainey, Mitch Washan, we all went to an Ag Fest trade show and brought the birds and talked to folks and explained what we're doing and got some names to lease some land and get permission on some land. We did some hawking up there. I'm telling you, pheasants were unbelievable. More than I've ever seen. We had a ball. Killed a duck with my bird. it was great. It was fantastic. The rabbits are unbelievable. We might have to do a little driving for jacks. They're there now, but they like to skedaddle
Migratory.
and move. Yeah, migratory, so to speak. But yeah, there will be jacks. If you want to drive an hour or two, there will be scaled quail. So yeah, we are going to have a heck of a meet. And it's early. It's in November. And the reason why people kind of complain that we don't do it on Thanksgiving, which is a pet peeve of mine, I don't like it on Thanksgiving week. But in Oklahoma, the land lease for deer is worth a ton of money, and we're not getting on property during whitetail season. So that's why we do it early. And it's it's about an hour and a half from where we're sitting right now, so that's not too bad. The last time Rob Huber and I did it in Lone Wolf in 2021, that was a 4 or 5 hour drive for us to go set that meet up, and it was tough. This is an hour from my house. Excuse me. Rob Huber lives 9 miles from me, so we travel together to set this up, twice a month. But I think we're going to have a great meet, and I hope everybody comes out to join us on the prairies in Oklahoma.
Yeah, so I guess we can kind of start to wrap this up a little bit, and I guess finish with a couple of fun stories in the field, whether or not that ends with you almost killing each other or whatever. I mean, I leave that up to you guys, but it's always fun hearing husband and wife stories in the field and experiences and things like that, and then we can end like I usually like to end with a piece of advice and call it good.
So my fearful story, I think my second or third year, was it my goshawk was killed? So the goshawk was killed. A friend of mine says, hey, fly my bird for me. I got this bird I need to spend more time with. So I take this Harris hawk, and she was a great bird. Teams up with her Harris hawk really well. And she goes down a hole, and I'm shoulder deep trying to get this stupid bird out of that hole. And
in the ground.
Yeah, and she's got her bird, and there was a landowner with us, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to call this guy and tell him his bird's dead. And
she went down the hole. We never saw her again.
I'm deep. I'm shoulder deep, and I can't feel her. And I send her. I said, go get me a shovel. We got to figure something out. And golly, I'm gonna call Mark and tell him this is not looking good. And they're gone for 20 minutes, and here comes this little fat bird walking out of that hole, pretty as can be. She went in head first and came out head first, and I was damn mad. So,
she was a great bird.
And I hunted that bird. I was horrified every time I flew her. Not my bird. This guy would throw his wife out of the house to keep this bird, and I got to call him, tell him his bird's dead. And I had my stomach in my throat the whole time, all year, and I gave that bird back to him, and I thanked him. I said, this was a great experience, but I will never do this again.
I can sympathize with that.
I flew that bird for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
But
she was fun.
She was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a whole bunch of horror stories, God, bird gets hurt, and I'm flying home at 90 miles an hour, talking to her on the phone, blood all over me, and oh yeah, I mean, falconry sucks.
I tell people all the time that come out with us, whenever they're prospective apprentices and things, I just look at them. I'm like, don't do this.
Yeah, why would you want to do this?
You see all this. You see all this bullshit that, like, literally, like you've heard us bitching at each other for like a whole day. Guess what? It's going to be the same tomorrow if you come out to, don't do this to yourself. Like, just don't inject that first dose of heroin. Be done with it. Just stop.
There you go.
And they keep coming. I just say, okay, well, you're stupid. All right.
Yeah. Yep. You're just dumb enough to be a falconer.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love it. It's watching a wild raptor let you be part of their. Yes, sorry. The wild raptor lets you be part of their life and be part of that, what they do naturally anyway. And you get to witness it. And that bird lets you take their lunch away and go do it again tomorrow. I mean, how crazy is that? And I always say it. You know, whatever I'm involved in, the minute I don't get chills or get excited or can't wait to call her, if she's not with me and tell me what happened, I'm gonna find something else to do. So
you guys are pretty much always in the field together then?
Not a lot, not all the time.
It depends.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear yours.
My story and my piece of advice are going to be kind of the same.
Okay.
So I think it's very important for people falconers, to remember what this is all about. This is about having fun, doing things correctly and ethically, keeping the bigger picture in mind, and going from there. So, and the reason I say that is because we had kind of a paradigm shift with the evil white bird. And so for decades before this, he's trained dogs to national titles and all this big deal stuff. And I trained dogs for international titles, depending, the translation of that. Kind of knew what we were doing there, and then we run up and have falconry birds for years, and then we run up against this nice white bird. And one day he takes her to work every day, and he says, "Come help me." And he says, "Come help me feed the bird." Okay. So I go back there, and my husband is standing there. He's got a backpack on backwards, so it's on his chest. He's put this backpack on backwards. It's on his chest. He's got welding gloves on. He's got safety glasses on. And he says, "Here, take this shovel." And I'm like, "What are we doing?" He's like, "You just stand there. I'm going to feed her. And if she comes at me..." And I said, "Honey, baby, is this fun? Is this what you had in mind when we talked about doing falconry?" And he's just looking at me. I said, "Maybe it's time to admit that this is one bird you're not going to get around, and let's get another one." And he found that bird a home, and she loves that guy, and she preens his beard, and she's still out there doing her thing. He loves her, she loves him, and Phil got a different bird. So, it was one of those, he got so ingrained. We both got so invested in fixing this problem that we lost sight of, this isn't fun anymore. Let's have fun. Let's remember that it's meeting people. It's having that relationship with your dog and your bird and the other people who do this. And even going to the meetings and being social and the networking, the whole thing, it's doing your part to preserve it, but at the same time, still having fun and doing it. When it stops being fun, it's time to do something else, like you said. So that's kind of
I bet you I get 2 phone calls a week, every week, from falconers.
Yeah. It'll be right in the morning, right in the middle of something that we're watching on TV, and it's just like, I might as well put something else on, because he's gonna be talking on the phone and pacing around the house for an hour. He loves it.
It's fun. I enjoy it. Like I said, it's one of the things that you're forever learning. The next bird's always going to be different. Or, it's. I can't explain the thrill I get out of it. Just sitting there, waiting for the season to start. Golly, my now hybrid that I have started molting, and I was excited. Shed 4 feathers, and 2 months ago, stopped.
It's been great to stress around the household because he's not molting fast enough.
Well, yesterday I walked in the chamber, and there was a feather on the floor, and I about did an Irish jig.
To put the season off. He's just not.
Well, we're 6 feathers in now, and hopefully we'll be ready for NAFA. So.
It's counting the feathers.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
that's when you realize you're not normal. You're just not.
Oh, yeah.
Don't live a normal life.
For sure.
Well,
what's normal?
We have a falconers dove trip coming up. Say we've been doing it for years. 1st of September every year, and it's coming. So I'm excited, and then we'll start getting ready for NAFA. it's gonna be a lot of fun. So.
Very cool.
We should end on another toast.
Yeah.
We're getting to the
there,
bottom of this Merlot bottle.
Is there even enough?
There's a little in there.
You know.
Oh man. Well, this has been really awesome and a lot of fun. I'm sure the wine has probably helped a little bit in this conversation.
Probably the best podcast ever.
But this has been a very entertaining one. I'm glad that, that you both came and that we could all three do it and stuff. And this has been a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys making the trip and doing this stuff. And real quick, do you have a piece of advice also?
Yeah. In closing, if just to reiterate, if we can get
that sounds very wise.
In closing, yeah.
In conclusion,
if we can get our young falconers involved, we're lucky in our club that we are getting them involved. We have 2 new people stepping up to do some things this year. Again, one of them you'll be interviewing tomorrow or Sunday. Our new president you'll be interviewing. Great to have these ladies get involved too. There's as many lady falconers as there are men, and I'm glad that they are involved. But step up and help your local clubs. Together we're strong. We can get things done better, quicker, faster for the next generation coming up. And then once you start learning the regs go, step up and get involved in NAFA. Again, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have half of what we do. So that's about all I can say about getting involved. And you know, if you're in central Oklahoma and you want to go hawking, you can look up Gayla and I will call in sick for weeks to go hawking. So it's a nice thing about being the boss. So, but yeah, I mean, I go somewhere, we leave Friday, you know, guys will call me and say, what are we doing this weekend? And we might go to Kansas, or we might be somewhere, or we might be in my backyard. So give us a holler. We'll go hawking anytime. So
fantastic. All right. Well, are you all good to end on that note?
So yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
One last cheers.
So Chintano Ano, 100 years.
Gotta reach over across this. Well, thank you again so much. This was a lot of fun, like I said, and I hope you guys had a good time as well. And I mean, hopefully we'll get a chance to hang out some and everything.
That'd be great.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So
where are you guys taking me for dinner?
And your choice. You said sushi, man. Let's do it.
I know. I heard sushi, and I haven't forgotten about that since.
Sold. All right. Well, thank you guys again so much, and also for the wine. This has been amazing.
Absolutely.